There is a reason why a lot of people look at the Japanese side of gacha communities differently. In a way, they are placed in a pedestal. Every time there is drama on the global side, there is always at least one guy that says something along the lines of, "Oh my god, there is so much drama on the EN side. Why can't you be like JP where they just enjoy the game?" And most of the time, they are right. They don't do things like getting into loud and messy arguments on the internet or anywhere really, and they don't drag things out into public fights, and they definitely do not turn every small thing into drama. If anything, they tend to do the opposite because it is in their culture to keep the harmony. They like to keep it low-key, and when something stupid starts, it usually just dies out somehow. So when something does blow up over there, it's either something actually serious happened or someone said something so unbelievably dumb that the entire timeline had to stop and look at it. And this time, you guessed it, it's the latter. But before that, if you find these kinds of videos entertaining, feel free to smash the like button and subscribe. Hit the notification bell icon to stay updated with my videos. Without wasting more of your time, let's just get right into it. How does everything start before it got hella messy and all, right? Well, the official Wuthering Waves account on Twitter puts out a post. And, well, that's basically it. That is the crime, apparently. And you might be thinking that, well, Glaive, you would have to explain more for us to understand. But trust me, even after hearing me explain it after this, you still wouldn't understand because it is just that stupid. The post is literally just for hyping up an upcoming character. The title of the post is 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗆𝗵𝘁's bedtime story. And here we've got a very cute artwork for 𝗖cie𝗽𝗍𝗆, and there is like a small segment of text that reads like the opening part of a bedtime story, probably what the title referred to. And I don't think this is lore significant either, it's just flavor text. The kind of thing you see in your timeline and you go, "Oh wow, she is so cute. I might not skip her after all." Or at least that is what the devs want you to think. You like it, share it, comment on it probably. The same things that you should do for this video. But the thing is, this is something completely normal in the gacha space, right? Like it's literally just marketing. It's not even the tone. It's not like that 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗆𝗵𝘁 promotional video from HSR where they call out all of the gacha slop tubers on YouTube. Like how is this getting any hate at all? If anything, this is the exact opposite of something that would normally start an argument, which is why the next part feels so weird because somehow this turns into a full-blown regional gacha war. Or not actually a regional gacha war, it's not 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 admittedly, minority part of the Genshin community. So Wuthering Waves has motion recently, right? I think we already know that by now. And so the promotional post came through the timelines of the people from other communities. The one in question is the Genshin community from JP Twitter. Our Lord and Savior Japan. They quote tweeted the post and questionably accused Wuthering Waves for copying. But it's not about the arts, nor the character, nor the small story segment. What is it about, Glaive? Stop edging me. It's the phrase, bedtime story. And there is a lot of these, very surprisingly. But there is one quote tweet in particular that blows up. Over 500,000 views. The translated post says, bedtime story, Lamau. Quit copying Genshin already. Seriously. And you might be thinking, huh? What is this bro waffling about? Yeah, that was what I was thinking for a while. But to understand a Hoyo shill, you must think like a Hoyo shill. And don't worry, you don't have to lower down your IQ just to understand him. I can do it for you. The context is that Genshin Impact has an Archon quest in version 4.7 titled Bedtime Story. A lore-heavy quest, it has Dainsleif in it, and usually Dainsleif quests are something to look forward to in the Genshin community. And by now, you should be getting it, right? They see this quest as a great life-changing story quest probably, so much so that when they see other medias using the same phrase, they must be copying Genshin. Delusional? Yes. Massive reach? Yes. Related? Not even a little bit. Unless you're talking about your parents, right? These two things are not even in the same category. One is a major story quest, and the other one is a freaking promotional post. The only thing overlapping here is just the phrase, bedtime story. But Glaive, they're Japanese. Maybe they just don't understand English very well. No, don't worry. We will get to that because later on, you will see that it is only a tiny fraction of the problem. When I tell you it gets worse, it really gets worse. The community did not take this lightly, by the way, because come on, guys, this person basically said that Genshin Impact created the phrase bedtime story, like the CEO of Hoyoverse Dawei. One night he couldn't sleep. Would be so good if an ASMR goth mommy could read me a story. Oh, I know, a bedtime story. Story, and that is the name of the quest. Like, come on, let's be real here, bro. Bedtime story is a generic English phrase, a story you read before going to sleep. It has been used in children's books, movies, songs, your dad's story on how he met your mother. It has 9 seasons, by the way. Basically anything with a calm, sleepy theme. So when people saw this absolute delusional idiocy, they did not hesitate at all to correct it. What the hell are you talking about? Bedtime stories are tales you read to kids before they go to sleep. Bedtime stories are invented by Genshin because of how fast it puts you to sleep. And this guy basically says that if using the phrase bedtime story means you're copying, that means Genshin is also a ripoff. Because flash news, kid, Genshin did not create the phrase bedtime story. Some even pulled the receipts, showing other media that use the exact same wording, just to show how common it is. Like, what is next? Did Genshin create the English language? Funny enough, people clowned on this guy about that too. I bet you think every origin is Genshin. Oh, so even in JP you can find cases of Hoyo invented the universe. And this one really puts the nail in the coffin, bro. English is a language invented by the time traveler Dawei. So even the most common nouns in English end up being ripoffs of Genshin Impact, you know? Like, you can read the rest by yourself, but this one is just hilarious. And as you can see, this guy is cooked. A lot of people disagree with him, showed that they disagreed with him, and just like that, I mean, there is not much you can do at this point, right? Usually that is where it ends. Either you apologize or, I don't know, just move on. And I understand if asking for an apology, admitting faults is too much to ask for in 2026 probably, but this guy couldn't even pass the bare minimum. This guy decided to double down, goal posted in the most stupidest way possible to justify his claim that Wuthering Waves writing bedtime story on their promotional post is plagiarism. The person quote tweeted a post that called him out. The post that was saying that bedtime story refers to fairy tales told to children, and it's not a made-up term created by Genshin. And there are other medias that use the phrase, so it's not fair to call it a ripoff from Genshin. This person quote tweeted that and doubled down. This is the Google translated version of the post because the Twitter one doesn't make sense, saying, I understand why there are opposing opinions, especially since people who got tired of Genshin Impact are moving over to Wuthering Waves. However, things like the unpleasant level of overlap in voice actors, and even this ultimate skill, there are just too many parts that feel like copies. It is honestly a stretch to just say, well, those things are used elsewhere too. It is a game that one-sidedly viewed Genshin as a rival and lost, so it pivoted towards making local waifus for the male players. And I'm not sure what my demographic is at this point, right? I make videos about a lot of gacha games, but if you have played any of these games, interacted with the community at least once, you would know that a lot is wrong in this post. First, they reframed the backlash that they got. They got hate not because they are wrong, and because people are correcting me, it is because of people who are tired of Genshin and are defending Wuthering Waves. So this guy is saying that the disagreement here isn't about him being factually wrong, that bedtime story is in fact a common English phrase. It is because these people are biased. I can't believe this shit. How are you so fucking stupid that it became everyone else's problem? I have no idea. And that is not even the worst part. This guy introduced another reason, goal posting, why Wuthering Waves is copying Genshin Impact. Verbatim, the unpleasant level of overlap in voice actors. Brother in Christ, or I don't know in Japanese, what is it? Brother in Buddha. If there is a vitamin that could boost brain function, you should take it. This is an absurd justification of why Wuthering Waves is copying Genshin Impact. You are going to accuse Wuthering Waves of copying Genshin because of overlapping voice actors? So what? Because Hoyoverse hired a voice actor, and now they are embargoed. They're not allowed to work in any other game, just Hoyo games. Like what? Do people not understand how voice acting works? Voice actors are not owned by a gaming company. Most of them, if not all of them, are freelancers. They work on multiple games, multiple animes, sometimes multiple roles at the same time. For example, the voice actor for Alto voiced Alto, but also voiced the NPCs as well. He also voiced Silver Ash from Arknights. Does that mean Wuthering Waves copied Arknights? No! That is the entire industry! The implication here is that once someone works on Genshin Impact or Hoyoverse, they're somehow not allowed to work in any other game, especially Wuthering Waves. That is blatantly unrealistic. It is not even how employment works. People need jobs, bro. Voice actors take roles where they can get them. Hoyoverse also rarely feature old characters after their banner ends. Do you expect voice actors after they are done voicing Genshin Impact characters? Do you expect them to change careers or something? How are they going to get food on the table, bro? And now I took one Google search, right? It says that Genshin Impact features over 460 voice actors across all languages. Do you expect every single one to not work on Wuthering Waves? You are delusional, my guy. I would believe aliens exist before believing your mental gymnastics. And oh my god, this is the kind of thing that 𝗖ญ่𝗍𝗶𝗵𝗵 agenda-pushing Twitter accounts post. Like, it's reaching JP Twitter by how much it is being echoed. Like, this is what happens when you just let these 𝗖ญ่𝗍𝗶𝗵 accounts spread misinformation unchecked. That is why I tell people to check out daily dailies on Twitter, like this account on the screen. Like, you can see every single day how Wuthering Waves caught strays over posts that genuinely has no relation or no mention to WUWA. Like, it's absurd. They just want to drag us into the mud, and we're toxic. Like, what? This doesn't make sense. But we are off to a tangent, right? This animation thing that this person attached, the ult for 𝗖ญ่𝗍𝗶𝗵𝗁 from HSR and 𝗖𝗇 from WUWA, being framed as identical. WUWA is ripping off Hoyo. There is a whole lot of drama around it before, and I made a video about this if you want to check it out. But the people are arguing about how they are saying the hair is both pink, the clothes are both white, the ultimate is them spinning, they are copies. God damn, you are stupid, bro. Both ults is something like spin and then throw something upward. Big visual effect. But that sequence, that motion is everywhere. You will find it in anime fight scenes, even older games long before either of those existed. It is what you would call an archetype, right? Hoyoverse did not, in fact, create spinning, throwing something upward, and big visual effect. You can see it on the screen, like the big visual effect are not even identical. I don't see Optimus fucking Prime coming out of the sky in 𝗖Ä𝗍𝗍𝗶𝗵𝗁's ult, okay? And I don't get how people don't call this out at all. The comparison footage was speed-tuned, slowed down, and lined up in a way that makes the two animation look more similar than they actually are. Like, it's so blatant in this video. You can see it in the beginning. The guy rewinded the 𝗖Ä𝗍𝗍𝗶𝗵𝗁 ult to line it up. Like, come on, bro. You are being manipulated. This is agenda pushing 101, and people are not gonna call this out. You're just gonna take the misinformation to the chin and side with these people when they say Wuthering Waves community is so toxic. Well, no shit, they're toxic if this is what we're dealing with. Do you not see this as a problem? So again, what is being presented as evidence starts to fall apart under basic logic and bare minimum knowledge. Because of these idiotic justifications, this person dared to say that he is not the one reaching. You are the one reaching because you said that bedtime story is a common phrase used elsewhere too. It is not a coincidence according to this guy. At this point, you might as well say that Genshin created English. And if that's not stupid enough, this guy ends the post with Wuthering Waves lost, so it pivoted to making waifus for the male audience. Here we go again. Another 𝗖ญ่𝗍𝗶𝗵𝗁 agenda pushing account type of post. How are they this dumb? Both Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves are gacha games, and gacha games by design rely on appealing characters and player attachments. That includes waifus, husbandos, all of it. That is the business model. WUWA does it, Genshin does it, HSR does it. Zenless Zone Zero is the worst of them all. Gacha originated from Japan. Anime originated from Japan with all of the fan service. So out of all of the countries in the world, you should know this the best. Like, what is going on? This is where it gets cinema, guys. I'm telling you. Some guy called out the person for not calling out Genshin when they copied other medias. Smaller games, animes, things like that. Puts them side by side and they look goddamn identical if you ask me. Something that would get insane amounts of scrutiny if it were to happen in Wuthering Waves. And this is where things really come into full-blown mental illness and hypocrisy. Because after all of that, being stupid, getting called out, being more stupider, getting called out again, you would think that bro finally feels like, you know what? These people got a point. I'm gonna stop now. But I gave too good of a benefit of the doubt because this guy decided to go for another round and surprisingly shows how absolutely hypocritical these 𝗖ᵢ are. In full 4K Ultra HD surround sound premium experience footage. This is gonna be a really tough read, but hold my hand, dear viewer. We can do this together. Here it goes. I am well aware it has been said since the very beginning that Genshin Impact was inspired by other works, but those were homages to games they respected. It is a completely different story when Wuthering Waves is making a game that is blatant, full-blown ripoff, using the same voice actors and even copying the exact frame-by-frame animations of Ultimate skills. Genshin eventually evolved into something unique with its own world building and story. There is a world of difference between the two. Ah yes, I mean, do I really gotta say anything? You know as much as I do. This guy is full of shit. Not his words, his brain. His brain is full of absolute dog shit. He echoes the arguments from these Hoyo Schlop accounts and doesn't think for himself, like legit. If you just think for like 2 seconds, you can immediately disprove this incredible leap in logic. Like if you just play the game for yourself, you would know that this is just bullshit. Genshin is inspired by other works, respectful homage, but Wuthering Waves is full of plagiarism. It is a blatant ripoff. Where do you draw the line? You say this absolute bullshit based on what? Like it doesn't make sense. The hypocrisy is shown in real time, and I swear to God, I can't take it anymore. You can see it, right? At this point, the conversation isn't really about originality anymore. And you know what? I think it makes more sense when you realize that this line of thinking is what started the idiotic take from the very beginning all along. It is about which game is being judged. Once you see that, everything else starts to make sense. The reasoning was never built from evidence and reality. It is being built from a conclusion that was already decided. And you know what? When people picked up on that, you can see in a moment, they did not take this lightly. People started bringing up comparisons like The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, something that has been discussed around Genshin Impact since the very early days. I mean, it's true. It's literally 1-to-1. You cannot say that this is inspired by Breath of the Wild, a respectful homage to The Legend of Zelda. Get the fuck out of here. This is a blatant ripoff, and you know it is. A free version of Breath of the Wild. Like, what? And they didn't stop there. They went full blast to showcase just how many times Hoyoverse ripped off other medias and games to create their new character. Like, no joke. You can see these posts by yourself. This is way more than I thought. The amount of times Hoyoverse literally just copy and paste and not get called out for it is embarrassing. Respectful homage. Get the fuck out of here, bro. How are you even defending this shit? It's so embarrassing. And the thing is, you can really feel the difference in tone, right? At first, people are trying to correct it. On the JP side especially, the response is actually pretty measured. It is not aggressive in any way. It is more like disbelief, right? Like, how can you say that Genshin created the phrase bedtime story? Like, you know what I'm saying? Secondhand embarrassment sounds about right. Because generally, the JP community prefers to keep things calm. They don't like dragging things into messy public fights unless it is actually worth it. We all know this. Whenever EN has drama, the JP side either just laughs or ignores it completely. We have praised the JP side for this exact reason, but it seems like they are not the angels we thought they were. I mean, of course, this is a minority situation. I believe JP side as a majority are super chill people. When something like this pops up, the first reaction isn't to escalate, it is to shut it down quickly and move on. But then the double down happened. The triple down happened until Global eventually inevitably caught wind of the drama. The tone completely changes. You start seeing people mock the idea itself. The whole owning a phrase thing becomes the full talking point. Did Genshin invent English now? Things like that, right? The double standards get called out more directly. Finally, some common sense. But don't you see it? This pattern, I'm sure you do, right? People invest time, money, emotions, and effort to these games, so they will have really big attachments to these games. It starts off slow with just the story and then the characters. Once you start building your characters, you like how they play and you get to know them more. You will get very attached. And as you get more and more characters, it is not just one character anymore, it's the game itself. And this attachment runs into a mindset, my game. And once that mindset kicks in, everything starts getting filtered through it. Everything in question includes things like criticism or other games doing well or newer games getting attention. They will ask themselves, right? Will this be a threat to the game I like? And from there, the conclusion comes first and then the reasoning comes after. A normal functioning human being will look at the evidence first, the reality, and then form a conclusion. Here, especially in the gacha space, it is reversed. You decide what you believe and you look for things that support the agenda. And that is the better part. Most people don't even form their their own opinion, just like the main character of today's video. These people only accept points that help their side and ignoring or rejecting anything that doesn't, even when it's obvious. And that is why situations like this spirals the way they do. It is not about figuring out what is true, factual, based on reality. It is about defending a position that has already been chosen. So at the end of the day, this wasn't really a debate about originality or something. It was a small example of something way bigger. How quickly things stop being about logic and start being about identity. And when you really look at it, it is really just like that. It is insane how this whole situation started over a common phrase, bedtime story, and how the situation we're having is far from the kind of calm that a bedtime story should have. It turned into accusations, arguments, and people bending logic just to defend a position they already decided on. Because at the end of the day, that is really what this is. It is not about whether something is actually right or not. It is about whether you want to believe it is. It sounds motivational, like something you would hear in a positive video saying how you should be trying to be the best version of yourself, but well, the context is entirely different. Because here, the evidence doesn't matter. Nuance loses its value. Even common sense starts getting stretched if it doesn't fit the narrative. And that is how you end up with people arguing that basic English phrase belongs to Genshin Impact. But I don't know, what do you think? Comment down below what you think of the drama, but that is all from me, 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗆, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!